Welcome to our next interview. My name is Todd Bailey. I'm a financial advisor with KRB Financial, and I'm here on behalf of Small Business Insights of the Triangle. And I am interviewing Stacy Smith with Smith Gardner Incorporated right here in Raleigh. And so we want to hear a little bit from Stacy and learn a few things about the business, what they've done and where they're headed. And so I'm excited to be able to sit down with Stacy and learn a little bit about you and your business.
Thank you.
So why don't we go ahead and get started. Just tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up here doing what you're doing.
Very good. As many kids that grow up, I was drawn to civil engineering and came to NC State in the late 80s to seek my degree. And while I was in school, had an opportunity to meet Dr. Greg Richardson, mainly through a connection between my cousin who worked for the Department of Environment, Health, and Natural Resources at the time, and his immediate report was married to Dr. Richardson, and they were seeking a part-time engineer, and I was able to say yes to it. I remember at the time when he asked me if I was interested. I said, "What do they do?" And he commented there about landfills. And I said, "That sounds terrible." And but I still accepted the position, and again did a little bit of everything as we began working at Greg's house in this newly formed company, G.N. Richardson and Associates. From invoicing to getting paper supplies to, some entry-level engineering, and kind of been involved in that since then. We've transitioned a few times since then. It was G.N. Richardson originally. Again, it eventually changed to Richardson Smith Gardner in 2007 as I gained more ownership and transitioned as Greg went into retirement. And similarly, went to Smith Gardner in 2012 when Greg fully retired. John Gardner is one of the other key contributors to the company.
So you had also mentioned to me as you were walking through that timeline of where you started to where you are now that you have multiple locations.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So we have been in this area of Raleigh for a number of years. We actually had 3 locations on Mullen Avenue, 417, 425, and then 14 North Mullen as in 2003. From that point, we've continued to grow a bit, and as we've continued to grow, we've taken opportunities to expand this location to this building here at 615 Wheeler Place. We've similarly have a location in Columbia, South Carolina to complement some of the work we've had there through the years, and then another kind of satellite towards Fuquay, Verena, that we had some staff that lived in that area, and it made a little sense at the time.
So you mentioned staff. How many people are working with you today?
There's about 28. So we've grown from our initial 4 or 5 back in the early 90s to a full complement of staff for solid waste.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. So tell us a little bit about what makes Smith Gardner unique. What is it that you guys do that perhaps others don't? How have you been able to set yourself apart over the last 20, 30 years?
So we've grown from being a niched engineering firm that was focused on geosynthetics. And again, the formation of our group kind of came around the change of solid waste rules in the early 90s. Prior to that, we had unlined landfills that eventually needed to have lining systems. And as we moved into those lining systems, Dr. Richardson was one of the national leaders in geosynthetics, And we focused on helping larger firms with the design of those geosynthetic geomembrane liners and plastics that went into landfills. So as we continued to work in that realm, we grew as a result of the need for a more well-rounded solid waste consultant. And I think, you know, that niche has been good. You know, we've expanded to groundwater monitoring, to gas monitoring, to closure, to operations, design, permitting. So we really do everything around solid waste for an entity, a group, a municipality that wants to get into that business or sustain themselves in that business. We provide all of those similar services to help and guide them through the process. Our focus is probably eastern half of the U.S. with a more confined niche to the southeast.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. So what are 2 or 3 of the main product services that you guys provide for your clients? What are some of the things that you really do well and excel at?
So, you know, the landfill has been our probably the main component, and we do the design, permitting, and construction of the landfills. But the other services, it's all the environmental monitoring that goes in around those facilities, and then further into transfer stations and recycling centers and compost and some of the other services that fit around that main depository of waste.
Right, and I'm fascinated, as you and I chatted a little bit earlier, about how the technology is evolving and the understanding of the environment is evolving and how that's playing into the strategies that you guys help your clients with.
That's correct. You know, one of the big changes is North Carolina specifically years ago had 100 counties, 100 landfills. We've seen a regional approach to solid waste now, to where, you know, going from 100 to only about 38 municipal solid waste landfills in the state. So that regionality has changed in the way we get waste back to this regional site through transfer stations, and then also the enhancement of recycling and recovery, as we've touched the waste several times. So, you know, where we were years ago would have been an unlined facility. The thought of maximizing waste and the footprint was probably not as strong a consideration. Very difficult to site a landfill, as many people are not excited to have that as their neighbor. So we work more to optimize its single location and improve the efficiency of that operation.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Stacy, you were sharing with us a little bit about the business and things that you've been doing over the last several years to get where you are today. So I would love for you to share with me what are a couple of things that you guys feel like you've done as a business to help you get to where you are today, from 4 or 5 employees, a smaller business, to a little bit larger business? What have you done to create that kind of success?
Yeah, one of the first and foremost things that's kept us very stable is staying true to our niche. Even though we may have grown in the number of services we do, we've always been centered around solid waste and in trying to help our customers work through solid waste issues. You know, it's very easy to follow the latest trend or push into different areas that, again, we avoided to stay away from distracting ourselves from this core focus. Now, the opportunity in solid waste continues to change because of changing legislation, changing feelings and political, similar to what we're seeing today in the ash. So we have to adapt a little bit, but again, staying true to that focus. So the way we've adapted through the years has grown with you know, the changes in regulations. So we went from unlined landfills to lined landfills. That really was the creation of our company. Now we see the capture of landfill gas and the conversion into renewable energy is a normal way of doing business, and we've been very active in helping help lead those areas. Carbon credits was a new thing that we worked out back in the early 2000s. Back in the late 2000s, we started seeing the Renewable Portfolio Standard, which helped drive more energy projects, different ways of managing the waste, and different single source waste streams, just trying to be prepared to adapt to the rules and help lead our clients, because we're in the weeds every day working through these issues, and I believe that's what people count on us to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, you had mentioned a few minutes ago that your focus as a company is primarily on the southeastern United States.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a perfect client, a perfect customer, those that who do you do business with the most primarily?
Well, the perfect client is anybody who's in trash,
Okay.
in trash and waste. But as we break down our client sector, I mean, from private companies such as Waste Industries is one of the ones that we've have a long-standing relationship with them here in Raleigh, and in municipalities. A lot of public groups still are in the waste business, and it's a service that's provided to all the taxpayers. So we never cease creating waste. So I think that's the ideal. Now, as far as a small single person who's in recycling or has a small landfill, we really will service anybody that has that need, as well as the largest of companies that are Fortune 500 that have those special waste streams that they need to deal with, from a haz waste type problem to a paper sludge, or again, like we're talking about now with ash.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if somebody's watching the video, they have a desire to reach out to you, to make a connection with you, what's the best way for them to touch base with you, to get in touch with you?
So the best way to look at anybody with Smith Gardner will be our website, www.smithgardnerinc.com, or certainly Google solid waste engineers, and you'll find us on Google.
Very good, very good. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate meeting you and appreciate you sharing your story with us, and I hope that the folks who will be watching the video will enjoy that and perhaps be reaching out to you.
Thank you.
Very good.